Ladies and gentlemen, the agenda meeting is now officially called to order. Would we all please rise to honor our flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Will the clerk call the roll, please?
Yes. Councilman Charles DePiero?
Here.
Councilman Michael Markell?
Yes. Here.
Councilwoman Rupa P. Siegel?
Here.
Council Vice President Terrence Van Zura?
Here.
Council President Miriam Cohen?
Present. Would you please read the Sunshine Law into the record?
Yes. In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, it is hereby announced and shall be entered into the minutes of this meeting that adequate notice has been provided by the following. 1, posted on the bulletin boards within the municipal building on December 30th, 2022, and remains posted at that location for public inspection. 2, printed in the Home News Tribune and the Cranberry Press on December 30th, 2022. 3, posted on the Monroe Township website, and 4, sent to those individuals who have requested personal notice. In accordance with Chapter 3, Section 17 of the Monroe Township Code, public comment shall be limited to 5 minutes unless further time is granted by the council president.
Thank you. We have a proclamation tonight that acknowledges the effort of the Siwa Diwali Food Drive 2023. Item 6 is ordinances for second reading at the December 4th regular meeting, which follows this meeting immediately. 011-2023-026 is an ordinance authorizing the Township of Monroe to convey a deed of easement over property at 210 Cranberry Half-Acre Road, known as Block 41, Lot 14, on the official tax map of the Township of Monroe. Parenthetical to that is that it's a JCP&L easement for the Veterans Housing Project. Ordinances for introduction at the December 4th, 2023 meeting. 012-2023-027 is an ordinance amending Chapter 3 of the Code of the Township of Monroe, County of Middlesex, entitled Administration of Government, specifically Section 50 entitled Division of Police. We're referencing an increase from 5 to 6 lieutenants. 8 is our resolutions for consideration under the consent agenda at the December 4th regular meeting. R12-2023-253 through R12-2023-271. Would all of my colleagues please review and see if there are resolutions that they would like removed from the agenda? From the consent agenda, please. None? Oh, very good. We will move to the public comment section of the agenda meeting. Remember, please, it's limited to agenda items only, 5 minutes per speaker. May I have a motion to open the public comment section?
Motion.
Thank you. Second.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Public comment section is open. Those wishing to make a comment, please come forward to the microphone, stating your name and address for the record.
I don't know if this is on. Is it on?
It should be, Mr. Kunkelman.
Okay. George Kunkelman, 5 Kelly Court, Monroe. I have a question about, in the consent agenda, item 255, which is transfer of budget line items. My question basically is, how much money are we talking about? But particularly, I'd like to know if there are any significant increases in the line items that it's being transferred to. So are we taking a line item and doubling its value by way of the transfer as opposed to having allocated in the original budget? Are there any big distortions here?
Mr. Weinberg,
That's what my
please.
question is.
Yep, real quick. So it's actually quite a small transfer. It's just $6,000 in a $70 million budget. So I could get into the details if you'd like.
Question answered. Thank you. Also in the consent agenda, item 261, which was rejecting all proposals. My question is, why were they all rejected? Was it to do with money, or they didn't meet the requirements of the RFP?
Okay. So, and I may defer to Joe Stroin as well, who took the lead on this, but basically the prices were higher than we expected, and our previous experience towards the end was not as positive as it was with one of the bidders throughout most of the contract. So I can have Joe expand on that if you'd like, Council President.
Please.
I think I'm going to have to pick this thing up. Do you know where the?
We spent a lot of time with microphones. Moving them.
No.
Sorry.
No problem. Thank you, Council President.
You're welcome.
One of the big things, Mr. Gunkelman, is that this is very similar to the energy aggregation program that the township is doing. We took a number of different bids, analyzed them, and looked at to see whether or not there would be a benefit to our residents. As you know, Monroe makes nothing on this program. This was just a benefit to the residents. And after a thorough and complete review, as well as looking at the fact that the original contract provider was sold and purchased by another firm, we ended up finding out that the level of service and the cost was prohibitive to have the municipality endorse it going forward.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Actually, I'll back up to the aggregation item, which is 254, page 2. Are any of those? Are we going to be reaching out to any clean energy type things? So is there going to be an option there? I get a lot of stuff in the mail wanting to sign me up, but none of them have a fixed rate for more than a month or two. So it's like crapshoot.
Mr. Weinberg?
Sure. So as many of you know, I'll try and be as quick as I can. We had the Municipal Community Energy Aggregation Program that ran for 8 years, ending in 2021, where we were able to collectively participate in a rate that was lower than the tariff rate. Unfortunately, the energy aggregation programs for almost everyone who's doing it, I think it's everyone, the rates were coming in higher than the tariff rate, and we certainly couldn't sign our residents up for something that would cost more than the tariff rate. So this just allows us to begin to, for May, to look again and see if we can come in well under the tariff rate so that we can make an award. There is a significant amount of renewables in there because the standards keep getting higher, but they're not some of the higher. Not the some places have 50% renewables, and this wouldn't be that. But it is higher than it was when we first started with the program because renewables are a larger portion of everything. So that's my answer, Council President.
Thank you.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Gunkelman?
Item 270. Lost it.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, the item 270, there's no dollar amount given there.
Do we have a dollar amount for the award,
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
contract for water remediation technologists, emergency services?
Apologize. Take me 1 second here. Council President, 117,700,
There's your number.
which is in the resolution.
I'm sorry.
117,700.
I
Thank you.
apologize for that not being on the
No.
agenda, Mr. Cole.
No problem. That's what we're here for, to find out.
Thank you. Wait, this gentleman and then Dr. Prakash Parab. Go ahead. Please, your name and address for our records.
Good evening, Council. My name is Christian Kane. I'm a resident of East Brunswick and a registered nurse at Robert Wood Johnson. I'm sure by now you've heard of our tentative agreement, and we're very happy to hear that the hospital seems to have met our demands for safe staffing ratios. But we're here today because this battle for safe staffing may be coming to an end in New Brunswick, but it has only begun in making its way toward Trenton. I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge and thank Council President for her proud history as a registered nurse with strong ties to public health and nursing education. Today, I'm asking for you to play another part in improving healthcare in New Jersey and amend the resolution on your agenda today to endorse that the Township of Monroe supports the passing of Safe Staffing Bill A4536, also known as S304. The current version of the resolution is insufficient in demonstrating dedication toward the future of nursing care. I was happy to hear in your last session that you would reach out to Dr. Cadmus, the director of the NJCCN, for her input on this matter. The NJCCN's extremely valuable research provides much of the basis of these bills. While I appreciate their contributions, I can't help but feel that their silence on these bills to this point is a result of their partnership with the Rutgers School of Medicine, an entity resulting from a controversial merger between the New Jersey Medical School and the Robert Wood Johnson Medical School. One of the deans of the school recently stated regarding the merger, "Our commitment to Robert Wood Johnson University in New Brunswick remains strong, and our relationship with these institutions will remain unchanged." I don't think it's a stretch to suggest that the NJCCN has decided to remain silent on these bills as a matter of self-preservation. The other deans were responsible for asking medical students to volunteer as support staff for the strikebreakers. The student body bravely responded with a joint letter that I can submit to you as an example of advocacy for patient safety. This is a quotation, "The decision to seek student volunteers during a strike could be perceived as disregarding the legitimate concerns of the nursing staff, specifically related to patient safety." The NJCCN's relationship with Rutgers School of Medicine makes to me them an inappropriate source of advice on this matter. As for industry experts, such as hospital associations, they have vigorously opposed safe staffing legislation for over 20 years. Ever since California successfully passed their ratio law, the industry has doubled the amount of money spent in lobbying across the country. Look no further than New Brunswick. Robert Wood Johnson spent over $120 million on replacement staff alone because our union dared to stand up for nurse-patient ratios. Hospital associations don't want this bill to pass because their mission is to improve business, not patient outcomes. They attempt to drown out the voice of nurses with nonsense. Hospital associations claim that, quote, "studies indicate that one-size-fits-all nurse-patient ratios do not improve quality of care or patient outcomes." This statement fails to acknowledge that plenty of other studies do indicate that ratios increase workplace safety, patient safety, and job satisfaction among nurses. On top of that, this is not a one-size-fits-all bill. This legislation is about staffing minimums. Objections to staffing minimums are like saying that cars don't need 4 wheels because tractor trailers have more. Sure, sometimes trucks may have more, but they have at least 4. In an emergency, you can drive on a flat. Just like how these bills have reasonable exceptions for uncontrollable circumstances. The final part of the resolution I take issue with is that it goes from the reasonable position that the legislature and the Department of Health are best suited to investigate and evaluate staffing standards to inviting industry experts to the discussion. To let industry, which is focused on business and profit, into the conversation is a grave mistake. You're asking a police officer to sit down with a burglar and debate the value of handcuffs. This legislation empowers the Department of Health to regulate the industry. Why would a burglar willingly put handcuffs on himself? Please amend your resolution to remove industry insiders from this discussion and urge your legislators to co-sponsor bills S304 and A4536. The future of nursing and healthcare in New Jersey depends on it. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
May I
Well,
submit this?
pardon?
May I give this to you?
Of course.
Thank you.
Of course. Dr. Perot?
Good evening, everyone.
evening.
Yeah. This is just needs a clarification on this resolution. I'm not against it. Needs some clarification. Resolution R122023-253, a shared, work regarding the health, and we are going to with Middlesex County, $107,000 per year. Shared service. I'd like to understand what type of shared service we are doing, what way it is helping us as a residents. So I don't know about it, so just explain to the public, please.
Sure, thank you.
Please.
Council President, if I can. So this would be we've been part of this shared services agreement since we got here, and I'm going to mention in my remarks. In Middlesex County, there's 25 municipalities. 23 municipalities are part of a shared services agreement with the county to get health services, whether it be health inspection, public health, a whole variety of other services. And the economies of scale that help with that are significant. Also, environmental reviews. I believe only Woodbridge and Edison has their own health department. So what's great about this for us is instead of having 23 separate health departments, we have one county health department that has those resources. And this is about a 2% increase, and it's worked well for us in the past.
It does make sense. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else wishing to address us, please come forward. Good evening. Your name and address for the record, please.
Good evening. Lucio Panos, 1208 Cedar Plaza, Monroe. I hope you all had an enjoyable Thanksgiving and grateful we're all here tonight. Item number 254. There's no amount. How much was this contract for? Item 259. It says there's an administrative monthly fee of $1,300. Did that go up? And is that, you pay that whether we use their services or not? So if it did go up, how much did it go up? On 261, how many proposals did you actually get? And on 266, it's health insurance. How much did that go up? What's the percentage of that? That bit everybody this year, as far as I know.
Mr. Weinberg?
So if I could, I'll start with 254. So 254, there is no cost to the township as part of this process if we go out to bid, and we do not award. Ultimately, if there's an award for energy aggregation, and we haven't been successful the last two times we tried because it was over, I believe it's 0.00059 as part of the rate, which gets built in, but that would automatically be make sure that we're under 5% of the tariff rate. So there's no cost to the township that's built into the program. That's how it is on every general energy aggregation, community energy aggregation program. On 259, the administrative fee went up $100 a month from $1,200 to $1,300. It's incredibly hard to find animal shelter services, and so we're thrilled to be part of Old Bridge. The costs are increasing this year overall, particularly with the daily boarding, but there's just not a lot of places to go for animal shelter care, and it's a complicated thing to procure. And we've been very happy with our relationship with Old Bridge Township. On 261, we received, I believe, two proposals as part of the RFP for water and sanitary optional sewer repair insurance, for lack of a better word. And that's the one that we're rejecting. And on 266, the increase in healthcare is 3.9% overall. Last year was 0. As you know, the state last year was 23%. And the state this year, I believe, is 7.6. So we're at 3.9. That'll go down a little bit with a couple of changes that'll happen in July as well.
Thank you. I hope you all have a nice holiday.
You too. Thank you. Anyone else wishing to address the council, please come forward now. Sir. Your name and address for our record, please.
Okay, I'm Alan Chris Gould at 518B Hazen Road in Monroe, New Jersey.
Thank you.
And
Mr. Gould, can you just bring the mic closer to you, please, so
sorry.
the back can hear? Thank you.
okay. So I do want to confirm what Christian has spoken about earlier about the that perhaps we really should amend the ordinance for the safe staffing. I do thank you for moving this so quickly, which is good. That's good. And also, we have noted that the, Linda Greenstein has been a sponsor in the past and presently now in the Senate for the bill 304. And also, Dan Benson has been a sponsor, one of the sponsors in the Assembly. And now recognize too that Dan is no longer going to be there, and Tennille McCoy now is the Assembly representative there now. But plus, we would like to amend that the amendment support or recommend that the Assembly representatives who are not already sponsoring to co-sponsor the bills in their respective houses there. And that's it.
Thank you for your comments, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to address us, please? Pick which way. Shorter walk that way. Your name and address for our records, please.
Hi, my name is Mari Santo. I live at 9 Mimi Drive here in Monroe Township. I've been a resident for 22 years here in this township, and I've been a nurse at Robert Wood for 22 out of my 35 years. As you all know, we are currently on strike still after today is our 4th month on the street with no insurance. This bill that you guys are looking at has been in the state for about 20 years now. And it's been given a little pat on the head here and there. And it's something that ultimately is going to it's impacting all of us for the past 20 years. If we haven't wound up on a hospital bed, we will wind up on a hospital bed. We'll have loved ones will wind up on a hospital bed. And if you don't have somebody in the family that knows a little bit about medicine to help you figure things out and speak for you, those nurses at the bedsides are going to be the ones that are going to speak for you and look out for you. And we're just looking for safe patient to nurse ratios that will at least protect us and the patients at the bedsides from grievous mistakes, oversights. Sometimes there's nobody to speak for a patient other than the nurse that's taking care of them. And I feel that this is a public safety situation that needs to be addressed. And I find myself in my 35 years of nursing getting scared for what's becoming of medicine. It's no longer a personal thing. It's no longer, there's no care in it anymore. It's all about the bottom dollar. It's become a corporation. It's no longer about caring for that human being at the bedside. And that's my major concern, that I will not just be a nurse one day. I'm going to be a patient in one of those beds. And I'm very scared for it. Thank God I have a nurse daughter, and I already told her to, have my back, just as I did for my family members. But not everybody has that. And I think in good conscience, we at least as human beings need to take this into consideration for everyone's safety. Thank you.
Appreciate your comments. Thank you. Anyone else wishing to address the council at this point? Ma'am, please come up.
My name is Adrian Fine. I live at 15B Canterbury Drive here in Monroe Township. I've been a member of the township for 23 years. I have been a registered nurse since 1957, and I have gone through all kinds of craziness over the years, both with the State Nursing Association and the American Nursing Association, to get something like this taken care of. It is to everybody's benefit in this room, and I urge you to support their legislation that they want passed.
Thank you. Hello. Your name and address for our records, please.
Good evening. My name is Emmy Rabi. I'm a resident here at 312 Spotswood Gravel Hill Road. And I'm one of the 1,700 nurses on strike on Robert Wood right now, since August 4. So we've been here for 4 months now. Safe staffing is the plan where an appropriate number of nurses are always available to provide the patients with the attention and care they deserve. The issue of understaffing, which we have experienced, is a public health concern. The chronic inadequate staffing compromises the quality of patient care and creates an unsafe working environment for the nurses, leading to undue stress, burnout, and poor retention of nurses. The nurses at Robert Wood are demanding better staffing levels, safeguard the well-being of our patients, and to help preserve the nursing workforce. Why is safety staffing important? Research shows that safe staffing ratio are crucial and one of the main contributors for success of any healthcare institution. It reduces mortality rate by at least 7%. It saves the facility significant amount of money because it decreases readmission rates, decreases length of stay, and decreases nurse burnout. Therefore, it lowers the nurses' turnover rates. The core of our fight for safety staffing is the community. Our working condition is our patient's care condition. Safety is the basic human needs and right. It is not a radical idea. We are level 1 trauma unit, and I work in a neonatal ICU. And I work with a 26, 24-weeker babies. And I love my work. I love working with people. So I'm just begging you guys to help us out. We care for the sickest of the sick in the community. We are fighting for the enforceable safe patient-to-nurse ratio, an evidence-based practice that proven to be saving lives. And so, we would like to request for a resolution in support for the safety staffing bills. The Township of Edison, Piscataway, Maplewood have already passed the resolution in support of the safety staffing bill. I'm also active in our church, in our school, and, I'm a good citizen of this community. So I'm just hoping to help us out. Thank you.
Your comment. Anyone else wishing to address the council this evening at this point in the conversation? Anyone else wishing to address the council on anything else on our agenda? Very good. At this moment, I'm going to ask for a
Council
motion.
President, may I add something? I'd like to ask Mr. Rainone if there's any way that we can amend this resolution that the public has been discussing.
Well, this is your work session, so this would be the time to do it. If you wanted to add or change language, you would change it, and then we would adopt it at the regular portion of the meeting.
So before I close this,
So, well, right here, we're still in the public portion, is that
Right,
correct?
correct.
So-
I need to
So
close
at
the
the conclusion
public-
of the public portion,
Okay.
we
Right.
would do it.
may I have a motion to close the
Motion.
public portion? May I have a second on that?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Public portion is closed. Councilwoman, I believe you still have the floor.
Yeah, I would just like to, Mr. Rainone, if you could help us reword this, possibly, if everyone else agrees to go ahead and amend the resolution based on what we're hearing from the public.
I am curious as to the sense of my colleagues on the council, what you are feeling at this moment.
Madam President, could I be heard?
Yes, of course, that's
Um,
why I just said.
I believe the first gentleman that came up addressed further specific bills and language that was not in our original resolution.
Correct.
And I don't know, it was a lot to kind of grasp in a short period of time. But I think that's what my colleagues are looking to perhaps try to add, because we're very supportive of all of your efforts and very appreciative, and we appreciate your coming here and letting us know. Not to speak for my other council people, but I think what we'd like to do, if I'm hearing my colleague correctly, is put the language in that you feel that is appropriate, so that we could then vote on that language, which perhaps might be stronger and have more of an effect when our resolution goes forward. And perhaps, I don't know, I know you handed something to
I have a copy of
Council
the
President. Is that a revised resolution, or is that, there's some way we can get the proper language?
No, it's a statement, and
So I just,
he has. Luke, go ahead.
I'm just writing it as
He's writing it as we speak.
Yeah.
You have experienced counsel here in town, so.
I just think that you want to, I think that the whereases of your resolution are generally okay. I just think that you want to add as a second whereas, be it further resolved, the second resolve, be it further resolved that the Township Council does hereby support and endorse the passage of assembly bills.
You gotta
Sorry.
speak a little
Going to the mic, please.
Sorry, got a little bit of a cold. Be it further resolved that the Township Council does hereby support and endorse the passage of Assembly Bill number 4536 and Senate Bill, sorry, I was reading as we were going along, S 304.
304.
And then I think if you just put that in, Patty, as the second resolve, then the last resolve calls for us to send a copy of this resolution to the legislative district representatives.
Am I hearing consensus on my right over here, gentlemen?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Is that satisfactory, Councilman?
Yes.
Excuse me, Lou, if I can just ask, so when we adopt, are we taking it out of the consent and voting on it separately, or leave it in the consent?
No, I think that you could, if there's a consent amongst the council people, I think you can just
I
add
think
that, resolved in.
Okay.
And adopt it as
Has
revised.
changed,
Okay.
and we would read the
Perfectly.
revised.
Council President, just had a question for council. So that we'll be voting on the way it gets amended.
Correct.
endorsing.
Unless there's some objection.
It would be endorsing the bills.
For endorsing the
Exactly.
bills.
Madam President, did I also hear something about a safe staffing bill 80536? Is that a different bill, or did I just not hear that right?
Maybe a different bill.
Not something that.
I think I had the numbers right.
right.
The Assembly bill is 4536, and the Senate bill is, I think Senator Vitale's bill is S 304.
I was
Yes.
confused with 4536, I believe.
Yeah,
Just
4536.
Okay,
Just-
thank you.
You're welcome. Just a comment that I had gotten information from Dr. Cadmus, and what we did was give it out to my colleagues on the council who all got it. It was not a matter of having discussions with them about it, but rather of obtaining information to share, to educate all of us in the most effective manner possible and efficient, since we did, as was noted, wish to get this done relatively quickly. Okay?
Is there a motion now to
So
amend it?
I don't know that you need, is there any
What do I
objection?
need to do
Well,
now?
I guess that's
We
the
need a
question,
motion.
Council President. If
You have
there's
to
no
ask.
objection, you could just do it by consensus.
Consensus. So the consensus is,
If there's any objections.
does any council member have any objection to doing this by consensus?
No.
Okay.
So it could stay in the consent.
Hearing and
Stays on the
seeing
consent
none,
agenda just with that resolve.
stays on the consent agenda for our regular meeting, so you can stay, please, and hear it adopted. Okay?
Motion second to adjourn.
Motion, may I have a motion to adjourn that was interrupted? Who made that motion?
Nope, we didn't.
Someone
start.
make a motion to adjourn, please.
Motion, please.
Thank you. May I have a second on that, please?
Second.
Thank you. Roll call.
Councilman DePiero,
Yes.
Councilman Markel,
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel,
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zora,
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes.
The time is wrong on the wall, so it's
Always wrong on the wall. It's
7:04.
7:04. Apple, yes. 7, Apple time. 7:04 Apple time. Okay.
Android.
Android. She's an Android.
Okay.
Okay.
Motion and second to call to order.
Yes, I am. Regular meeting is called to order at the time of 7:04 Apple time or Android time.
Yes.
As you said, may we have a motion to call this meeting to order, please?
Motion.
Thank you. May I have a second on that?
Second.
I'll let someone second.
Second.
Councilman DePiero, second.
May we have the roll call vote?
Councilman DePiero,
Yes.
Councilman Markel,
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel.
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zora.
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes. May I have a motion to approve the payment of claims per the run date of November 30th, 2023?
So
Motion,
moved.
please. Thank you. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Roll call.
Councilman DePiero.
Abstain?
Councilman Markel.
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel.
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zora.
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
A motion to approve the,
I need your vote.
yes,
Thank you.
sorry.
That's okay.
May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the following meetings as written and presented? November 8th, 2023, the agenda and regular combined meeting. Motion.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Thank you. A roll call.
Councilman DePiero.
Yes.
Councilman Markel.
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel.
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zora.
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. The ordinance for second reading is 011-2023-026. It is the ordinance
Bless
on
you. Sorry, somebody sneezed. Bless you.
ordinance authorizing the Township of Monroe to convey a deed of easement over property at 210 Cranberry Half Acre Road, known as Block 41, Lot 14, on the official tax map of the Township of Monroe. I need a motion to open the public hearing.
Motion.
Thank you. A second on that.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Public hearing is open. Anyone wishing to comment on this ordinance only, please come forward and state your name and address for the record. Seeing and hearing none, may I have a motion to close the public hearing on this ordinance?
Motion.
Thank you. A second.
Second.
Thank you. Public hearing, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Nay. I may have a motion to adopt, please?
So
Motion.
moved.
Thank you. A second on that.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call.
Councilman DePiero.
Yes.
Councilman Markel.
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel.
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zora.
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes. Item 5 is the ordinance for introduction is 012-2023-027. It's an ordinance amending Chapter 3 of the Code of the Township of Monroe, County of Middlesex, entitled Administration of Government, specifically Section 50 entitled Division of Police. That is an increase of from 5 to 6 lieutenants. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you. A second on that, please.
Second.
Somebody. did
Councilwoman
raise it.
Siegel,
Thank you.
seconded.
Roll call.
Councilman DePiero.
Yes.
Councilman Markel.
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel.
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zora.
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes. We move to the resolutions for consideration under the consent agenda. R12 2023-253 through R12 2023-271. Do we need to reference any? No, we don't need.
Just 271 as amended,
We don't need to do anything.
as revised. Okay.
As revised. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Thank you. A second on that.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call.
Councilman DePiero.
Yes.
Councilman Markel.
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel.
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zora.
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes. There were no, we move straight to the administrator's report. Mr. Weinberg, please.
Thank you very much, Council President. I'll be somewhat brief and may mention some things that came up during the Q&A, so just bear with me. Did want to highlight on here a little bit about the 3.9% healthcare increase and the cooperation between the employees, the unions, and the management to keep healthcare increases more manageable. And so we continue to work on that and move forward. I also want to comment a little bit on managing legal fees. We're still down about $200,000 from 2019 in our current fund for it, which has been stable at that rate. And we're switching on here, as you know, $55,000 from tax appeals, which are down, thankfully, to general legal and litigation. So we're dealing with that, as you know, and as the council knows. Republic Services has sued the township and its residents regarding the closed landfill, and so some of this money will be used to defend the residents vigorously over the coming months and years in that lawsuit. Did want to comment on the County Health Department Shared Services Agreement We are always trying to move into shared services agreement. When we do that as regional government, we can certainly not only save money, but get a better product. The optional water and sewer program will no longer be municipally sponsored, as was mentioned earlier. This was an opt-in program only. The future cost increase from the two bidders and the recent contract reliability issues make it difficult for the municipality to endorse the program. It's still available to the public privately, and folks can make choices as they see fit. And finally, engineering design was approved in here for Inwood Estates Road and ADA improvements. Moving forward with this $328,000 state local aid grant, this will improve the roads in and around where the tanker trucks were moving over by the landfill for several years. And we'll be excited to work on this project later this year and hopefully get into paving. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Engineer, Mr. Rasmowitz, hi.
Thank you, Council President. I'll be brief as well. Just a quick update on a few of the projects. The Emergency Services Building on Halsey Reed Road, the drainage and concrete work is complete. The paving should be this week if the weather permits. Our township sidewalk program is still in progress. The county traffic signal improvements, Old Bridge Englishtown Road and Mounts Mills Road intersection, the county work is well underway. Our utility work was completed by Monroe Township Utility Department. And lastly, the traffic signal at Applegarth and Joan Warren Way intersection, Middlesex County anticipates construction starting in the spring of 2024.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Council reports. Mr. DePiero, do you wish to do the council report?
Sure.
Good.
First, I wanted to wish everyone happy holidays. This time of the year, just wish everybody happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, and safe New Year's to all. But I also find that listening to our residents and our co-workers of Robert Wood Johnson and all the hospitals, I just want to say I've been through hospitals enough with my family and through good times and bad times, but never had a bad experience with nursing and with staffing. And sitting up here, I just want to say, as a resident of 63 years of Monroe, sitting as a councilman, I will always support the first responders and also our staffs that you guys went through COVID and everything, and just wanted to say thank you to everyone involved, because we all, as you said, we're all going to end up on a hospital bed or we're going to have a loved one there. And just listening to our attorney's advice, I want to thank our council president for her expertise and her support and her knowledge with this, and also educating me as a citizen and as also as a councilman. I want to say thank you, because it's something that it's close to all of us, and I just want to say thank you for everything that you do. And if there's anything that we could do, I'm glad you came to the mayor and to the council, and we appreciate that, and I want to say thank you. I had a couple questions. Lynx Drive, Costco Drive. There's a gate that's someone ran through the gate, and our police escorted, chased this individual. It was like 2 or 3 months ago. There's still some cones there. When can we get this gate fixed, and at whose expense will this gate be? Who would be paying for this?
So, good. Thank you, Councilman. So we are in the process of replacing it, and I believe, as is always the case, if we were able to catch the person, and I'll double check, then our insurance company would be going after them as well to reimburse us for all the costs of replacing the gate. So I'll have to look into that to confirm that we caught the individual, but I know that the process of replacing the gate is already underway, and it's a complicated gate. Last time when it broke about a year ago, it took us a little while to fix it, but hopefully in the next couple of weeks we should be in good shape.
Okay, if you can keep us posted on that, I'd appreciate it. Thank you. I sent a couple emails out past couple months I know Shannon used to take care of a lot of street lighting issues that are out throughout our town. I got involved in some that were out in Greenbrier, some that was out in Concordia. But we have Avenue K, we have Grano Street, we have Machaponics, Texas Road, Spotswood Gravel Hill, the new section that we've just paved. Probably 25 to 35% of those lights are out. I don't know who we have driving around at night that can report these lights to JCP&L, but there's quite a bit of lights out through our community. So I do send emails and on which streets they are, because residents do either send emails to our administration or they send them to us as council, and I just pass them the information along. But there are quite a bit of lights out, and I like to see who's in charge of in our community now.
Mr. Weinberg.
Council President. So, yeah, I did pass your outages out to the regional representative from JCP&L, because ultimately they're responsible for the lights. We've been pressing them to fix lights, and in being on different email servers with other municipal managers, this is unfortunately a chronic problem, and I know the mayor has brought it up to not just JCP&L, and I'll let him speak to it, but also to the Board of Public Utilities, because that's ultimately who they answer to at the JCP&L. We've been able to get some progress throughout the town, but there are certainly too many lights that are out, and we continue to push them. They're a regulated agency, so the pressure continues to go to our legislators and the BPU to encourage them to fix more lights. They have made a significant amount of progress that they have been in town, and we have been getting some updates, but we'll continue to push them to do more to try and fix those lights. It's particularly important when we're in this time of year when it gets dark so early. It becomes a safety issue for our residents and becomes a more acute issue.
Okay, thank you. Because I know we've been waiting for Municipal Plaza for a few years for them, the new lights that they're going to put from Prineville into the complex, but they're still not here.
Right. So that's different. That's putting in new construction, and we are waiting a long time on that. But there's absolutely no reason why they shouldn't be fixing lights quicker. Right. Sometimes what they say to us, and this happened a little bit in Clearbrook, and I know the mayor can address it, some of these lights have underground wiring, which makes it more complicated, but it's never an excuse for it to take too long to do it, because we are paying for those lights, so they should be on.
Right, thank you. So there's a ribbon cutting, which I visited again today, the Monroe Bagel and Pastry. It's 8 o'clock at 627 Spotswood Englishtown Road, December 7th. The owners appreciate the mayor coming to cut the ribbon, and council and public, whoever can attend. It's at 627 Spotswood Englishtown Road, 8 a.m. on December 7th. Also, menorah lighting on December 7th at 4 p.m. at the Prineville and Prospect Plains Road. And there's also on December 10th at 5 p.m. at the Senior Center, the menorah lighting that will go at the Senior Center. On November 29th, Veterans Park to the Rec Center, we had the tree lighting and the holiday parade. I wanted to say thank you to everyone that helped, the police with the escorts and our first responders, Station 51, Station 57. I want to say thank you for all of that, and also for the rec department on everything in DPW, what they did. Also, some of the council and the mayor attended the luncheon for Thanksgiving at the Senior Center. That was something that was very nice. As always, it was well done, and our staff, I just wanted to thank everybody for that. We have two employees that no longer work with us this year. I just wanted to give a shout out. Alicia Gonzalez in the clerk's office, and also Samantha Rampachek, our tax collector. I just wanted to wish them well on their new careers and their new towns that they're working for, and I wanted to say thank you to them for everything that they did for us and our departments that they helped, because I knew them personally, and I also had experiences with them, and everybody had nothing but good things to say about those two employees, and I just wanted to pass that along and say thank you. And we also have two employees, Christine Braden, who's going to be retiring from MTUD, which I call MTMUA because that's when she started 25 years ago. And she was the voice that when you called, she always made you feel better and said hello and bubbly, and she always answered the phone in a good spirit. And I know her last day is December 29th. Just wanted to give her a shout out and thank her and for everything and wish her well in her retirement. Also, Wayne Horvat, our director from DPW, is going to be retiring, and everything he did for our community. And I just wanted to thank him and his expertise on everything that he did for our community and wish him well on his retirement. I had a question on the server. Have we gotten any updates yet on the server? I know we talked about it with the Board of Ed, and when can we get this server back up so these meetings are live?
Yes. So if I could, Council President, so the meetings are live. We're on YouTube, and they're also recorded on there as well. I know that the server was down at the Board of Ed. I can certainly follow up on that and see if there's any communication or plan there, and see how we could be helpful to resurrect that. That would tie it into the cable system, but it is already taped and live here. You know, as you look to the back of the room, you could watch it from your car if you're so inclined. But we can certainly follow up on that. I don't have a recent update.
Yeah, but if you wanted to watch it, like my mom watches it on Verizon, she's unable to watch it, and she keeps asking me why, and I keep saying, I'll ask. And when we started, it was 35,000, 65,000. We're going to get it in a couple months. We're talking to the Board of Education. I mean, you know, you talk about it being on YouTube, but everybody doesn't have YouTube. Like I said, my mom watches it on Verizon. Some people watch Comcast. I just thought by now we would have an answer and try to get it so they can watch it on Comcast, Verizon, and everybody can see it, not just people with on YouTube or live, like that we need to resolve, and that everyone could see our meetings, all our meetings. I had a question in reference. I sent an email on Friday in reference to some bills, and I noticed we have Lowe's, Home Depot. We are making some payments where it says Lowe's credit, Home Depot credit. So I think on the bill list, when I see credit cards and I look back at the past of some township employees, some fire companies, and so forth, with credit cards, I think that's a problem. And what I would like to do is I'd like to get from our auditor and also from our attorney a letter of opinion on any credit cards or any credit cards made out to MTUD or in the name of the Township of Monroe. I think that I'm requesting a letter of opinion from our attorney and also from our auditor. So if I can get that, if you need it in writing from me, Council President, just let me know. But that's a request that I'm making.
I could answer that either at the end of your comments or now if you'd like, Councilman.
No, I like the letter.
I'd like to respond either at the end of your comments or now if you'd prefer.
You can respond.
Okay. So we don't have any credit cards. We do have, and I've explained this in writing several times to you, we do participate in state contract programs with Home Depot and Lowe's. There are no credit cards in the township. I know there was a major issue within the audit and at DCA as it relates to the fire district, but we do not use any credit cards here within the township.
Okay, so whatever we use, if it's a qualified card, I spoke to George Lang because you asked me to go see him tonight, and I did. And his reference to me, it's not a credit card, it's a purchase card it's state approved. So whatever cards we use, I just like to have a letter from our attorney and also from our auditor, a letter of opinion on these cards that says Lowe's credit and Home Depot credit. When you see credit, and then when I requested the invoices, I was not given the invoices.
Well,
Home Depot, I was not given the
You were
invoices.
given all. I mean, we can pull those after the meeting. I thought it
Yeah,
was just
I would like to
Lowe's, so
see
we
them.
gave it to you.
I would like to
It's
see
the DPW that you just lauded. That's who goes there and purchases
I'm going to
it.
interject a minute
Sure.
here, folks. You've asked for the opinion to be rendered by our attorney
And an auditor.
and the auditor to the legality of doing this is my question.
I need the letter of opinion of the use of the cards.
Use if this is an appropriate use
Correct.
state issued cards for certain.
Council President, if it was a problem, our auditor would have put it in the findings like they did at Fire District 1.
Alan, they're what DCA refers to as P cards. Is that
P cards, similar to P cards, but also some of them are state contract
I
cards.
can give you the local finance notice that
Yeah.
allows us.
Yeah,
to
that's
use
all I'm asking for.
Okay.
That's all I'm asking.
But
for my letter. There's a DCA opinion.
When we're asked to approve bills, I'm just asking for the bills, and now I'm asking for a letter from our attorney and our auditor. That's all I'm asking.
Said he would give you,
Letter of
well,
opinion.
our auditor would have flagged it in an audit, so obviously we're clean on an audit.
Right, but I'm
Because
just
it's never
asking.
happened, but the attorney said that he can get this, from, is a release information you can provide, so we can move
By the
on.
Department of Community Affairs. There's a local finance notice that approves
Right,
it. It's
fine.
these.
Right, 'cause
there's
there's-
a state regulation on it. Our auditor doesn't render opinions like that. Our auditor conducts an audit. We don't pay him to.
Tanya may
render
have the Home
separate
Depot
opinions.
bills if that wasn't included right next to her.
Because,
Tanya has the Home Depot bills if you need them, Council.
okay, but there's also state contracts that we want to follow, and I'm just asking for that letter, that's all.
You weren't denied getting that letter.
Thank
I'm
you,
just
thank
getting
you.
us to move on.
All right, so I also sent an email in reference to how much taxes we collected so far for 2023. I requested added assessments, rollback taxes. There was, I got a response, 996 added assessments with a total of $4,596,728. This money is collected over what we budgeted for with each Board of Education, also our fire companies and fire districts and stuff like that. So with this money that we collected in 2023, $4,596,728, that money, we do not disperse that money other than to the county, correct?
By state statute, it only goes to the county. Nothing gets dispersed by statute.
Okay, so what do we do with that remaining $4 million?
Right, so Council President, if I may, there's an offset. As you know, both the Fire District and the Board of Education, when there's a tax appeal, don't have to make those payments. This council makes those payments in full. We don't share it, and we do have an offset for the county. That's how the legislature set this up. And we're just following the statute. Ultimately, that runs into our AFS and ultimately into our audit as part of our budget, as every other town would do.
Becomes part of your surplus.
Correct.
Okay, so if
Part of our surplus.
the last time we had this problem, my recollection was we had to go borrow the money for tax appeals because we didn't have the money to pay the taxpayers, but the county also gives us a credit if tax appeals, correct?
The same 20% that they get from the assessments, they give us a credit for the same 20% on tax appeals.
Okay.
For collections.
All right, so right now we're just that extra $4 million that we collected this year. Where does that go?
Goes into the general fund and it probably lapses into your surplus because it's not appropriated this year. It's an item of revenue.
Goes into
Sorry, I
surplus.
can't speak any louder than this. My voice is a little stuff.
It goes, if I heard this correctly, it goes into our surplus.
Correct.
So because it is unspent, so it is there.
Okay. Thank you, Council President. Thank you.
You're welcome. You good now?
I'm all good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Markel, your report, please.
A very short report. I just was going to reiterate on some of the events we had over the last month. The Diwali event at the Senior Center was wonderful. Great event. The Christmas lighting last week was really well attended. Wasn't too cold. And we had a great person light the tree, our council president. the Thanksgiving dinner at the senior center served about 265 members, people, which was a really nice turnout. And I just wanted to say that the menorah lighting on the 10th we all should attend that. One thing I would like to mention, which is kind of has affected me personally over the last month, is what's going on in Israel. I've got a number of emails from people in my council as a councilman, not personally, asking me my opinion on what's going on. I'm really not going to get into my opinion, but it's in this time of holiday of the season, when we're all celebrating, I think we have to remember what's going on with the people in Gaza and the people in Israel and the people in the Ukraine. And while we celebrate, we should keep in our minds and our hearts what they're going through. It's very important to remember this. And I also want to thank all the nurses and all the staff that are here tonight representing your patients and everybody who's going to need you and is thankful for you. And so I just had to say that. Happy holidays, happy Hanukkah, happy Merry Christmas, Kwanzaa, everything. Have a good holiday.
Thank you. Before I move over to Councilwoman Siegel, we have already been to that bagel store you were referencing earlier, Councilman. We went there after some event and had a really good bagel, a little large, and and a latte. And that was so pretty place. Councilwoman, your turn.
Thank you, Councilwoman Cohen. Good evening, everyone. Nice to see everyone here today. Just a couple comments and updates that I want to share. As was mentioned by Mr. Markell, we had our Township Diwali event back on November 19th, and it was truly a wonderful event showcasing the culture and heritage of India. And we did a little tour of a celebration around how Diwali is celebrated around India. It was a day of cultural programming. We had a lot of local vendors, exhibits, a room dedicated to making a community rangoli, and we had food from purchase from a lot of our local Indian restaurants. So, and we ended with a special Diya lighting. But I do want to thank people. There were so many people involved in this event. Our Diwali committee has been working on this since the beginning of last year. Our DPW and Greg Slavacek, they were such an enormous support to us, helping us out all over with the event. Our police department, EMS, everyone else that was involved, our township administration. There's so many people helping to make that event a success. And we were also able to collect a food pantry donation with the help of our local vendors of over $550. So we're excited that we're able to do that too. And I want to share that our Mayor's Youth Advisory Committee just kicked off last week. We have about 20 high school age students that are participating this year. And I have to say the selection process was very challenging. We had over 50 applicants who applied to be on this commission. So we are looking forward to really working with these students over the next several months and seeing what they come up with. And again, as others have mentioned, the Senior Center Thanksgiving event, it's always nice to be there and see such a great turnout. The Senior Center does an amazing job with that event. And I want to point out, if anyone hasn't visited the library, please do go stop in. They just redid the circulation desk. That area looks amazing. It looks like a different library. And I know DPW and some other areas were helping too. So thank you for all the great work. And it's the season of giving. It's upon us. And, it's always a time to think of others. There's many organizations around town that are collecting food donations, collecting coats, toy drives. There's so many things out there. And even if you can't donate money, they're always looking for volunteers who can help and lend a little bit of a hand. So I wish everyone happy holidays to whatever holiday you may celebrate. Thank you.
Council Vice President Venzer.
Thank you, Madam President.
You're welcome.
Most of my colleagues had hit on the items that I was going to hit on, so I'll be pretty brief tonight, but I thought it was wonderful. We had our annual Veterans Day event. We had a Diwali festival. We had Christmas tree lighting. Now we have menorah lighting coming up. kind of things that make Monroe a great town. We have a great mixture of people here, and it's nice to see the community come out and get involved and have some forms of celebration. I especially want to compliment all of the nurses who came here at this meeting as well as the last meeting. You came out here to fight for a cause, but you did it the right way. You did it the right way. You came before a council. You were respectful. You got your point across. You educated the council and whoever else might be watching as to what the nature of your issue was, and the council reacted. And we reacted promptly. It's very unusual for us to get a resolution together from one meeting to the next meeting, and to be able to do that and have it passed, and then also amend it in the middle of the meeting tonight from our agenda meeting to our other meeting to reflect your updated concerns that we were unaware of. I mean, I think that reflects very strongly on how you guys presented yourselves, and the fact that you came forth and you got your point across. And I think based on the vote of the council, which was unanimous, you could see that we all agree that it was a very, very worthwhile cause, and I wish you the best. I hope that the rumors of settlement are positive and that it'll be to your satisfaction. But if not, and for the other issues beyond the initial settlement that you also brought up, I hope that you'll continue your fight wherever it may be, and I think you could see that you had our support. So thank you so much, and thanks for everything.
Thank you. This is why nurses are the number one trusted profession in the United States, year after year after year. But on that note, year after year. But on that note, as is always a pleasure, our mayor, Mr. Delino, please.
Thank you, Council. Thank you, Council President, for allowing me a few minutes to just make some brief remarks. First and foremost, to the nurses, the staff members here, thank you so much for what you do, for your clinical stewardship. But now, more importantly, I have to admire your advocacy to your profession, to come out here to fight for not only yourselves, but for the generations of skilled nurses to come. So thank you so much for being here. Before I begin my comments regarding some of the agenda items, I would like to just share my statement on the vandalism at Temple Etz Chaim and the ultimate or the follow-up arrest of a juvenile suspect. The vandalism to the Etz Chaim synagogue has deeply affected our entire community at a time when there is such an alarming increase in incidents of anti-Semitism. Law enforcement and prosecutors must take all bias cases very seriously. I must applaud our acting chief, Griffin Banos, and the Monroe Township Police for their hard work and thank them for apprehending a suspect. As the individual is a 15-year-old juvenile, there is no more I can say at this time except that we expect the appropriate legal process to move forward. We appreciate the community's support for Temple Etz Chaim. Since the incident, our township would not tolerate actions of bias or hate in this town. Again, while this was a sad day for Monroe, I was glad to see how the community responded with support and help, which helped the police catch the suspect. Monroe continues to be a caring community which respects all of its neighbors and citizens. I did also want to mention a little bit about the streetlights. It has been an ongoing issue for quite some time now. Dealing with JCP&L is very, very difficult. As the energy provider to many communities in the state, it is a conglomerate which is very difficult to traverse through. We do have a regional coordinator who we've had discussions with, especially regarding the streetlights in our town. The problem is that the system that they use for streetlight repairs, for acknowledgement that there's repairs, or if citizens want to call to that there is a street light out, and then the subsequent work orders that go out it's an archaic system, which causes just trouble after trouble after trouble, and as opposed to getting something fixed, it just causes more trouble. Conversely, I've told them that I think their system of power outages and letting you know how many residents are out, and then the ultimate repair time, I think is pretty good. However, I guess there's information system that runs that is different than the work system to say that there's street lights out. After many discussions with them and hoping that they were going to take care of the situation, again, it was brought to my attention where I needed to escalate this to the BPU, as our administrator had mentioned. So I was on a Zoom call with members of JCP&L, as well as our state representatives, to voice our concerns, our deep concerns on how this system is just not working. Not going to get into the weeds on underground wires and the different types of bulbs being used, but they decided that their new strategy was going to be more of a rollout, a centralized task force. So instead of going piecemeal to a light on one side of the town and then getting called over to the other side of the town, they were going to roam through certain designated areas. They've chosen a few of the gated communities as a project. It's been successful to date. Now, while they might not be able to get to every light just based on the configuration of that street light, there has been some success. So I would expect at some point for them, we'll designate certain areas outside the gated communities as well. But that's where I wanted to at least give you an update regarding JCP&L, the lights that are out, and the process that we're following. On the agenda, it was mentioned earlier about the aggregation program, which we're trying to roll out again. This was a very successful, in fact, the first time we did it, I was on the council, and we had some very successful opportunities where we're able to take care of the energy aggregation. Now it's aggravation because, quite frankly, we just haven't gotten that rate, that dollar rate that that would be beneficial to our citizens. So I am looking forward to hopefully something more positive in the upcoming budget year. Speaking of energy, I had the privilege to climb a 40-foot ladder and climb on top of the warehouse on One Costco Drive to look at one of the largest solar farms on the roof of a building in the state of New Jersey. So this is the state's solar program, which is right now in its pilot stage. It will help residents in the community who you have to have certain income to participate in it. Since we have some gated communities that are all electric, it's an opportunity for them to take advantage of it. For more information, please go to our website. However, again, I must warn you that it is in the beginnings. It is a pilot project. So some of those things that you may have enjoyed with the aggregation where it's a consolidated bill, this is not the case with the solar program. But again, it's something as we move forward to a more green society, more energy and environmental friendly energy sources. This is something that I'm proud that we're part of. As mentioned before, please check out the library, the circulation desk. It's a kind of much needed update, and it's really, really interesting looking. And again, it's a great asset that we have here. And when I say asset, I'm talking about the library in total. This is one of the few libraries in municipal libraries that's open 7 days a week. A lot of other libraries in the surrounding areas are not, so please take advantage of that. This past month, we held Veterans Day events at Avenue K. We had our Veterans Luncheon at our Senior Center. And again, it was an official opportunity to truly say thank you to all of the veterans in our town. The Senior Center saw some great action, as was mentioned, in particular the Thanksgiving Luncheon. But of note, the Diwali event I thought was outstanding, and I have to publicly thank all of the members, but especially Councilwoman Rupa Siegel for her stewardship in being able to plan that, and then get me to go into a kurta and get involved in dance and fashion show. I was told that Bollywood would be calling me after, and I'm still waiting. This past Thursday, as was mentioned, was our holiday parade. I'd like to thank the Rec Department and the members of the Fire District 1 for putting that together. Fortunately, I was not able to attend and drive in the convertible and be cold. But again, I guarantee next year, the weather's cold. You'll see me out there. Tis the season. Menorah lighting. The municipal township menorah lighting will be on Sunday, December 10th at 5 o'clock at our Senior Center. And since we have our nurses here, let me just finish off by just a special thank you to our amazing EMS employees, the best in the region. In November, they answered 998 calls for service, with Sunday, this past Sunday, being the busiest day with 202 calls. They are our consummate professionals, and we are certainly lucky that we having them in our town serving us 24/7 throughout the 5 geographic locations of this town. And with that, I thank them and I thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We now move to the public comment section. May I have a motion to open public comments, please?
Motion.
Thank you. Second, please.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. The public comment section is open. Comments are limited to 5 minutes per speaker. Please come forward, state your name and address for our records.
Pat Swalje, 586A Madison Drive. A couple of things. First of all, commenting on what Councilman DiPiero had said about the lights. I would like to thank Councilman Mike Markell. He is our Ward 1 councilman, and I had the pleasure of working with him in our Clearbrook complex. And so as a result of his interests and his pushing and his keeping on top of getting these lights fixed in a couple of the senior complexes, that job is getting done. So thank you very much for your just taking that upon yourself. I have a question for Councilman DiPiero. A couple of months back, he had stated that there was road work being done on one of the county roads or one of the roads, and one of the businessmen had suggested to him that signs be put out that the businesses are opened. So I wanted to ask him if he has pursued any of that, and has he, kept up with finding out what can be done about that, if the county would provide a sign, or how that works when there's road work going on.
Any business that is affected by road closure, it should be normal practice that the county or the town or the contractors allow the businesses to have a sign that says that.
But when you brought it up, it was that I guess the county, when they're doing road work on a county road, should supply a sign? That's what I was wondering if you had followed up on
Well,
who does what with the signs.
So what the project was on 522, which is a county road. Okay, Farmer Al's business was still open,
right?
And he, as his councilman in that district, in that ward, I asked if the sign could be put up that his business was still open, because he was open and there was no sign said that his business was open. So moving forward, I said all of the construction that's going on for all throughout our community, throughout the town, they should have signs up if the roads are closed, that all our businesses that are open, a sign will say that they're still open. It's not up to me as the councilman. Our township engineer is right here, and he's the one that he does all the signage, all the approvals is done through his company that he works for, Center State. So any business that is open, they would notify him and notify the contractors, and it's up to them to follow up with the proper signage. It's not up to me as a councilman. I just brought it up that it wasn't getting done, and because a resident and also business owners brought it to my attention.
I think Mr. Asimowitz, we have to follow up on that. Yes, because I'm not aware.
Council President, that is the typical practice to have signage for local traffic only to get to those businesses.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
And also, I have no problem getting, and I look at the council minutes meetings all the time on the website, our township website. If you go on there and you can just put in Monroe Township council meetings and you'll get them right away. I don't have a YouTube subscription, but my suggestion for Councilman I have sons, and I'm sure Mrs. DiPiero wants to see her son on TV or at the council meeting. So my suggestion would be for Christmas, that would be a nice gift from him to Mama. He could get her a subscription to YouTube, maybe. That's just a suggestion.
Thank you. Next person, please. No one. Just Dr. Perron. Thank you. Your name and address, please, sir.
Prakash Parab, 33 Dana Drive. Wish entire council, everyone, happy holidays. The first thing is I want to thank Mayor for the $4 million, whatever, I don't have the wordings on that, for the Applegarth School. They needed $10 million and the matching fund which was arranged. Thank you, Mayor, and the council for that. Applegarth is very important. It is an old school, and we need to support, and thanks for the continuous support on that. And and also thanks for the Seva Diwali, okay, Councilwoman. That was very good. Not Seva Diwali, Diwali celebration. It went very well, and thank you. And next one is I thank for the mayor for giving us the proclamation for Seva Diwali. For the town, I want everyone to know that we are in the 6th year of doing Seva Diwali food drive. Seva is a selfless service during our Diwali festival. The most important is children should understand there is a poverty, there is a hunger. And last year we had 300 individuals visiting our 3 pantries in Monroe and Jamesburg, and it has increased this year to 600. And that is a sad story. So anyway, I have to thank the children and the parents who went around and collected food. And we had 10 organizations, Indian organizations, temples, and everyone joining together. We gave 26,000 pounds of food to 3 pantries, one our senior center and 2 in Jamesburg. So I thank them and thank Mayor for coming and giving proclamation, and also school district and BOE president coming and admiring the children. Now, I want to bring one. There are a lot of nice things are happening in our town, so thank you very much. Okay, roads, everything looks good. Lights are the problem. My street, 3 lights are not working for 1 year. My front house, light was not working. I called, within 10 days they fixed it. I don't know why, but it got fixed. But coming to one thing, burglaries, car stealing is going on. Last week, Last 3 days back, 3 burglaries in South Brunswick. During daytime, morning, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, they came, they broke the window, came inside the house. What they are looking for, the car keys. They searched the drawers, took the cars, stole the cars. This is a state issue. This is a national issue. Even the senator's car in Washington was stolen. So, where is our FBI? Where is our intelligence? This is a national theft. There is organized criminals. They are doing it very organized way. The car disappears. The police cannot chase them because they drive so fast. They kill whoever comes on the way. So I urge that we talk to the senators, we talk to the legislators, we talk to the FBI. This has to be solved because when the cars are stolen, the insurance goes up. It all impacts us and also impacts the safety. They have not killed anyone, but they came last week to South Brunswick when residents were at home, they were sleeping, they came early in the morning and stole it. So the request is that things are going well. We have systems in place. We have updated our police system with lot of, information and activities. So I want to bring this to your attention, President.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to address the council, please come forward as you're walking forward.
Good evening. My name is Ellen Panzer Schwartz, 19 London Drive. As the president of the Sisterhood of the Chabad of Monroe, I wanted to personally extend my invitation to everyone in our community to come out. I know someone had mentioned that the lighting was Thursday, December 7th. It is, but it is at 3:30 in the afternoon, and it is on the corner of Perrineville and Prospect Plains Road. It's directly across from Shop and Stop shopping center. And we really want, especially in this year, to realize the humanity of everyone's celebrations. And I think that's one of the most wonderful things about Monroe is how much we can share. So please, everyone, you are invited out. We have refreshments. We have live music. I'm very proud to say that the menorah is built by my husband, who it is the largest menorah in the United States. It is the same size as the National Menorah. And so it's really a treasured thing that we in Monroe get to share. And again, everyone is invited. It's December 7th and it's at 3:30 p.m. Lots of entertainment, lots of good food. You can park right on that side, or especially if you have little children, please park where the menorah is. Otherwise, you can park in the parking lot of the supermarket and they don't mind to come across. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir, please. Name and address for our records.
Brian Fabiano, 19 Patricia Place. I have a couple of things I wanted to go through here. It was just mentioned about public safety, the break-ins. I'm proud of the things that the mayor and the police department are doing in our town. Unfortunately, this is a statewide, national issue. What we need to do as individual citizens is safeguard ourselves as best as we can. And I seen there was a couple of things that the police department put out regarding locking your doors, making sure your windows are secure, lights on, yada yada, right? Unfortunately, this is something we're dealing with as a society. It's not just here in Monroe. I think we're still one of the safest towns out there. It's nice to see the expansion of our police administration so that more can get done. That's obviously in addition to all the cameras and things that you guys have installed recently. So keep that up. And that's all we can really count on from a safety perspective, is that you guys continue to make those improvements. So I thank you. I did want to also mention about, Mr. Parab mentioned about the school district and the money that the mayor delivered on. I think what's important to mention is that fell in the council and the mayor's lap at the last minute. And I believe it was at the October meeting that the mayor said a plan would be put together. Mr. Weinberg was working with the school administration, and you guys delivered, and it's huge. It's huge because obviously, the referendum failed last year. It was a poor plan, but it did, by it failing, it did, make things look pretty bleak in terms of the repairs that needed to get done. And by the township stepping up and getting this grant matched, we can get the much needed repairs. So I really do appreciate that, you guys delivering on that. I wanted to ask a question about the Citizens Review Board. If there were any updates at the last meeting that took place, the Citizens Review Board for the training school.
Mr. Weinberg, please. Trying to refresh my memory.
Thank you, Council President. I don't have my notes in front of me. I did attend the meeting. So is there anything in particular you were looking for?
Do we have a council member that liaises to that commission that can give an update?
We have two council members, Councilman Vanzura and Councilman DePiero is the chair.
Okay, so could the chair give us an update of that meeting?
You got to ask the council.
Council President.
Councilman, do you want?
Charlie's the chairman.
Charlie, the chairman. Did we have any recent reports from them? No.
I was not present at the meeting, neither was Terry.
Okay, so the reason why I ask is, if you weren't present, can't give a report, that's fine. I'm concerned that there is this commission that I believe meets biannually that gives updates on the status of the training school, which is a state prison for juveniles. And there's been a lot of discussion, some things that I've seen in particular from Councilman DePiero in this place being magically transformed into a migration camp for migrants that are being shipped to Monroe and that this is not a training school. I'm just wondering, is there a breakdown in communication between the training school and the committee and chair, or I'm just wondering why that the misinformation is being spread throughout the community, because it has been a major concern for members of the public that are hearing these kind of outlandish things that certainly I don't think are true. But where is the breakdown in communication, or are these just things that are not actually happening?
I can answer some facts, having been at the meeting.
Facts on that.
So as many of you know, the training school is eventually going to close. It is approximately, and the update at the meeting was, I think, 4 to 5 years before they create the 3 regional locations that would replace the statewide location that is now the training school in Monroe. So we're still about 4 or 5 years away. About a year or two ago, we were 4 and 5 years away, just to keep in context with the state and what their numbers mean. So we're still 4 to 5 years away. A member of our board did ask the question, if it's operating, are these rumors about, migrants moving in there true? And the head of the school said, absolutely not. It's a facility for juveniles at this point, and it will be for, 4 to 5 years plus. So those are obviously just rumors. It's still operating and fully functioning. Not fully functioning, but functioning for I believe it's about 90 or so juveniles, 80 or 90 or so juveniles that still are housed there.
Great. And one more question on that topic. Can you maybe explain, could I finish my last piece? Well, I think you took my time when you were answering, right?
No, we
okay. Can you just, the last question on that is, could you just give an update on the land negotiated deal where we were able to acquire land for open space from the state?
Right. So there's 2 issues there. One is on the what would be the east side of Spotswood Englishtown Road. I believe it's 94 acres, if I'm correct, that sit behind the old police station. For those of you who may recognize that facility that was knocked down, this is sort of on the Spotswood Englishtown Road side of the location. So thankfully we were able to get that land approved by the DEP to become Green Acres, which gives it a more protected status than just being land owned by the state that could at any moment be sold for development. So it is a Green Acres location at this time, and that's why the council and the mayor took down the building, was because Green Acres can't own anything that has buildings on it that aren't being maintained. So the police department building, which was our police department, which we didn't build, but was a building that was there that our police department moved into. We took that down because it could have been years before the state allocated money to do that, and then they did some work back at Camp Derrick to clean up that area back there, so it would be just a green space, and I believe it has some farming on it as well. So that one is done. As I've probably explained to the council, and I know that working with the mayor on this, the area around the boys' home is 570 acres. We have been working for years with the State Agriculture Development Board, where in 1999, the state passed a law to put that into farmland preservation, or a bill into farmland preservation. They haven't yet filed the deeds, so we're in the process with the State Agriculture Development Corporation to have all the meets and bounds done, accommodating our Danny Ryan Field that's out there, and then hopefully in the next year or so, those deeds will be filed. So it's partially protected, but we uncovered that the deeds weren't filed yet. So now we're moving to make sure that land is protected in the way it should be protected, as well as farmland preservation outside the gates of the community.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to address us, please come forward.
George Gunkelman, 5 Kelly Court. I want to thank the township. There was an issue on my street with a county, probably subcontractor, that was doing the handicap access ramps. And in short, they were not the best contractor in the world, but the engineer's office was able to get their attention to finish up their work and clean up, and not just string it out over a long period of time. And that was resolved. And I want to thank the engineer's office in particular, and the various clerk's offices that directed me to the engineer's office. It was well done. And when it was all done, I noticed that the street sign was kind of hanging off at a nasty angle. So I looked at it more closely, and they had managed to damage it. So I pulled it out and discovered that the big problem was they had bent the pole with their backhoe. And I put it back in and compacted it better and fixed the street sign, so it should be good for a while. But very unimpressive performance by the county contractor. Regarding the street lights, I appreciate that, being from Ohio, that PS which is an Ohio-based company, can be difficult to deal with. One of my questions I'd like to get in front of them is, why aren't they replacing them with LED lights? When we're replacing our lights here in the parking lot, we're replacing with LED lights. We did at the library, and we do whenever we're doing any kind of a renovation. But one, they last a lot longer, don't have to be repaired as often, and they're more efficient. And since we're paying the bill, I can't see why they can't. But it is JCP&L. I have I'm going to go out into left field here a little bit and make the comment that we have in Monroe great public services. And, it was mentioned regarding the retirement at Public Works. And we've also talked about the MTUD a lot. I just want to say that we have to remember how good these things are. And the day will come when we'll be under financial pressure. It's happened before. And the temptation to sell these off, particularly the MTUD, because there are buyers out there who will constantly want them. And it's big money, and it's upfront money, and it can solve a lot of problems. But the result is almost always terrible for the residents in the long run. I've had the experience of working in towns that sold off their utilities, and the interacting with the newer companies and the town people, the residents that had to interact with them, it was almost entirely negative and also quite costly. As soon as their period expired that they were supposed to maintain a price for, it just went up astronomically, and it was a burden. So we should all keep in mind that these are good and we want to hang on to them. The last thing I wanted to say was that, I wanted to ask, when are we doing reorganization this year?
January 1st.
January 1st will be the inaugural ceremony. January 3rd will be the reorganization.
So there'll be a ceremony on the 1st, but the actual
Swearing in
ceremony.
And that's just a ceremony. It's not.
Right, correct.
Then the meeting will be on the 3rd.
Correct.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Happy New Year.
Anyone else wishing to address the council, please come forward.
Good evening, all.
Good evening.
And Michelle Arminio, 9 Nathaniel Street. And I need 30 seconds of indulgence, please, from Council President.
Yes, 30 seconds.
So I may thank you with all my heart, all you nurses and first responders who saved my husband's life on numerous occasions and the lives of the people I love. And there is no one better in those buildings than the nurses and the staff. And I honor you all, and I'm sorry that you are under such pressure, but you have my deepest and most, the best gratitude I could ever have. So thank you all, and please. Okay, so a little segue into maybe community health. Resolution R12 2023-270, authorizing the award of a contract for water remediation technologies. Could we explain what that is? Potable, and I think it's a potable water issue.
Yes.
And the safety of our water source and our drinking water is very, very important to me, along with our open space and protecting our natural resources. But can we talk about whether there's it says for treatment, for emergency treatment. And can that be explained? I'm asking.
Yes, please.
Thank you.
Do you want to try using that one?
You grab the mic.
You could pick it up. They want you to take that one.
Yeah, just take that off out of the sleeve. It's got like a 20-foot cord on it.
You could move it around.
This is
Yep.
good.
Very common.
WRT, which is going to be doing the emergency work, was essentially a request from the NJDEP. We had 2 months ago a contract issued to a company that is going to actually repair 2 filters in our well 21. The 2 filters are pressure vessels, and it's a specialized contractor that does an ASME, which is American Society of Mechanical Engineers code welding, because it is a pressure vessel. But the NJDEP, in order to do that work, we have to remove and temporarily store the media that is in that filter. So the NJDEP has asked that WRT get involved and perform that service, and that will enable us to complete the repair. And then once the repair is completed, then WRT will replace the media.
Is that well in any way contaminated, or is coming up on its testing as high?
No, it's still operating. Just those 2 filters have been shut down because of the internal corrosion issue on those vessels.
Okay, and how often do we actually test all of the wells in Monroe?
They're tested essentially for a variety of different water quality tests, anywhere from monthly to quarterly to biannually and annually.
Have we had any heavy metals lately in any of the wells that come up?
No.
So they're functioning well, and all the treatments are in good shape, and
Yes, absolutely.
we can drink the water. Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
You're welcome.
I'd like to thank, so we're looking for 570 acres up near the boys' home to be preserved. It's not yet. The state has really taken their time, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Please.
Do you want me to try and explain that again? So,
Yes,
and
yeah.
Lou,
Yes.
jump in if you can.
Drew, please, feel
There was
free.
a bill, I guess, signed by Governor Whitman in 1999 that would turn that into farmland preservation through the State Agriculture Development Corporation. As part of our review of the entire area, when they announced the closing, we discovered that even though the bill passed, they hadn't filed the deeds. So we reached out to the State Agriculture Development Corporation, and we're working with them in the Department of Treasury now to make sure those deeds get filed. Actually, one of the members of the committee that reviews that saw them out testing the meat and bounds probably about 6 months ago. So hopefully everything will be set. I still think we're somewhat protected there, but this would put the icing on the cake once the deeds are filed.
Now, will that land, is that anticipated being conveyed to Monroe, or is that going to stay within the state hands?
No, I think that those are agricultural development easements that are held by the state.
So our farmland preservation stuff is held by the state as well?
Correct, because
Okay.
we sell it to
So it's
them. Correct.
Okay.
We
And-
give them an easement, in other words.
Okay. And then the 94 acres, is that successfully in the Grain Acres? And that's also a state,
Yes,
that's state also, but it's Green Acres and that's deeded already.
Correct.
Okay, let's keep up the good work with preserving our environments, because the more we knock down trees in this town, the hotter it's going to be. And we're starting to discover that in urban areas, and we're starting to make Monroe look a little urban in terms of lack of trees and some of these big buildings that are going up and the high density. That's not going to be healthy for the residents coming in. And it's certainly not going to be healthy for the lack of trees, a high density. You're making a face. But
I'm not
like
making a face.
if you hear anything about urban environments, they're a lot hotter than suburban
Considering I
and
grew up
places
in
with
one,
trees.
yes, I'm well
right.
aware.
So did I.
Yes.
And finally, in terms of the I'm
Initials,
done.
yes,
Okay,
I-
just really, I want to make a plea to put things on cable again. Not everybody has computers, not everybody has YouTube. And I know Public Radio did a survey, and they found that people over 60 tend to still use cable a lot more than the other devices. So to take that away from the majority of, well, a very high percentage of people in Monroe, I think is not good. I would ask you to, again, work with the Board of Education, get that back up and running.
Thank you very much for your comments. Anyone else wishing to address us this evening? Your name and address for our records, please.
Betsy Nichols, 254B Belmar Road. You guys mentioned the financial audit, and there was an issue with Fire District 1. Can you tell me what the issue was?
It's not our, fire districts are not under our jurisdiction. Fire districts operate independently of us and conduct their own meetings and business. Did I leave something out of that? No, we
Okay.
don't have that information to give you.
So you're not aware of what the...
We do not have that information to give you. You can contact them yourself. I would, and call them and ask them to give you that information.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else wishing to speak with us this evening? Yes, please. Name and address for our records, please.
Good evening. Chrissy Skirby, 21 Preakness Drive. I want to thank the council for passing the resolution this evening for the nurses. Having a mother who has been battling cancer for the last 2 years, we've made several trips to Robert Wood Johnson, and I could tell you there has definitely been a shift in the care that the nurses that they've brought in are providing. So I'm happy to hear that there is a tentative resolution, and I hope that the state does whatever they need to do, whatever legislative action there is to get our nurses back in where they belong. And I thank them all for coming out tonight, because they truly are heroes to those who are in the hospitals. So thank you for the council for recognizing that. And I just want to make comment on something that Dr. Parab brought up about the local break-ins that have been happening for the cars. Not only was it in South Brunswick, it was actually in my neighborhood Thanksgiving week. 2 homeowners saw on the Ring camera that several individuals were trying to break into their garage to access their cars. There were 3 vehicles stolen out of Southfield Estates the same evening. The detective that came out to our neighborhood was very informative. I want to thank the police department for their information that they're giving to our community. There were 2 meetings that were held in homeowners' homes where the detective came out and gave us a lot of information that I had no idea what was going on. There's 2 different types of organized crime at work across New Jersey and across the country, and it's alarming to hear what they're doing with the cars. You know, they are following people from gas stations home to see where they live. They're taking pictures of the cars. They're posting them to whatever websites they use, and they're getting buyers. And when they have a buyer, they come back and get the car. So basically we were told, you know, come hell or high water, they're coming back for that car because there's a buyer for them. So it is very scary. Knowledge is power. I always say that. I know the detective said that they are willing to do multiple presentations in people's homes rather than large forums, because they want to make sure that the information doesn't get out to those that shouldn't have it, right? The criminals. But I do know that the police department mentioned that they have installed these cameras around town that have been very useful to them. And I know my neighborhood has been sending letters, I think, to the council and to the mayor, asking for, in the next budget cycle, if you can increase that, because it seemed like the detective that came out to speak to us said the more cameras, the better. For them to track. So I would really hope that the council would maybe make that a priority too in the budget, to put more of these cameras in, because what they can see from those, the license plate readers, really has been, I think, helping. I know the detective said that they have indeed been able to see when a stolen car has come in, and they've been able to escort them out of town. He went through why they don't chase vehicles out. And also something alarming is that these organized crime are using juveniles, because they know that the juveniles are not charged like adults, and they get apprehended and they're let go that evening. And what happened in my neighborhood, we were told that juvenile had probably 50 pages of a rap sheet, and they just got let go. And that is because of the state of New Jersey, the laws that they have for juveniles. So perhaps maybe the council can look at some type of resolution urging the state of New Jersey as well to change some of these laws, because these juveniles are being used in these crimes because they know that they're not going to be charged. So it really is, and it's across the state. And, you know, nobody's to blame here in Monroe for these break-ins. But again, like I say, knowledge is power, and letting our residents know all of this information and how to protect themselves, I think we have to get that out, as well as letting our legislators, understand the need for changing some of these laws. So thank you. Happy holidays. to all.
Happy holidays. Anyone else wishing to address the council, please come forward now. I'm looking and seeing none. I'm going to request a motion to close the public portion of the meeting. Motion, please.
So moved.
May I have a second? Second. Someone second. Thank you. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Or anyone opposed? No. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
May I have a second on that?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? This meeting is adjourned with the thanks to the chair and the council members. Happy holidays to everyone.
8:20.